My name is Kanipo with Mac Watts, standing there. Soda Tribe Fishing Lake First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty 4 Territory, Anishinaabe, 60 Scoop Survivor, published author. And we go live from here almost every morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. We go over a couple books that I have written, Indigenous Meditations, Indigenous Teachings, Medicine Wheel Teachings, Seven Sacred Law Teachings. But the reason why we're here today is, people ask me what I did a live the other day about what is the 60 Scoop, because a lot of people don't know. So it was a program up here in Canada, in the provinces, that the Canadian government came in and they stole um, First Nations children out of healthy homes, communities, and families. They just came in and they stole. This was illegal. That was the question. This was illegal. They didn't. And so I was one of those that was taken. And so, invariably, the question comes after, well, what was it like to be a 60 scoop child? Aside from the terror. So basically, what happened is they put me in an orphanage days after my birth. I was stolen the day of my birth, and then I aged up to foster care, and then from there I was adopted out by a white American family, sold to a white American family. They were the Snellgroves. Uh, they didn't know they were part of some sort of human trafficking thing. They really didn't do that. They went in this with every beautiful intention to love a child, and so that's what they did. But the other perspective is my own personal perspective, and really coming from that place, coming from the womb, and then going to the orphanage is actually horrific and terrifying, right? Nothing was right, nothing was normal. Put me in, what the clinical world would say survival mode, right? So I was in survival mode. I didn't have that human bonding with my foster care. Again, it was just another situation of like I had to survive you, right? I just survived what was going on, and really the first voice that I heard, like ever, that wasn't my own, was the quiet one survived. Was the quiet one. So whatever was happening around me, I just kind of closed my eyes, and like that was that, right? So what was it like being adopted? And a lot of people would say, well, that's the day you won the lottery, and I can't argue with that. I really can't. It took me out of basically shark infested waters. I understand that. I realize that. I know that, but and here's the big but. Um, you know, they say a family, right? You know, I had no idea what that was, right? All I knew was that this was a place that I had to survive. It looked a little different, right? They had adopted another son, my brother, a year before, right? So, really, in my perception, it was the smallest, group home I've ever been in, right? So I'm like, there's one other child here, I don't know what he's doing here. I don't know what his story is here, but, I mean, they use terms like family, father. I had no idea what a father was. I had no idea, right? I had no idea. It was just some guy there that I knew that I had to survive. And, being really little, like he had a big beard. I thought he was a pirate. I was really scared of him. It's hard to bond with somebody when you're really scared, right? It was really like that, right? And like a mother was, I didn't know what a mother was. I didn't know how I was supposed to react, respond to any kind of. I didn't know. I just didn't. Nobody taught me that this is a mother. This is what they do. This is a father. This is what they do. This is a brother. This is what you are, brother. This is your responsibilities. Nobody taught me that. Nobody, that they just kind of threw me into a situation which looked a lot like the orphanage that I just left, right? So that's really the deal. And so, in foster care, this is what they do. So they pick you up and move you frequently, right? So I can't remember a whole lot of that, but I do remember something like that, right? So so I didn't know seeing the family part of being a family was you're a family. I understand that now, right? Right, you're together and all of that. But I didn't understand like the dynamics of it. I really didn't. I just didn't. I didn't. That's my family. You know, you're supposed to stay together. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So coming from the home, I just naturally assumed that at some point that I was going to leave. Right. Right. So I never knew that I was if I was going to fall asleep in the same bed that I woke up in because that wasn't my experience. Right. I just didn't know. And with that, I packed a little backpack. It wasn't more than this big. And so in that, because you have seconds, you have 30 seconds from the time the car pulls up to the time you pull out. That's what I remember. Right. So it was really quick. Right. Like they don't wait to pack your stuff. You're gone. Right. You know. You that's what I remember. And so when it happens quick. That's what I remember. I was preparing and planning. So I kept this little go bag underneath my bed. It had Army Man. It had a couple Matchbox Hot Wheels things, Green Army Man, Star Wars figures, and it had like a windbreaker because it got cold out. Had chewable vitamins, and it had a toothbrush. So I do remember that, right? And I would check that and recheck that over and over and over again throughout the day. I would have to go home and make sure that it was like okay, right? One, that nobody found it. Two, that it was there. So like I would have somewhere to go, something to have when I was left, right? When they were picking me, and that's just like the way it was. That's all it was. That's all. That's it. And so. Like when we're in this situation, like if I didn't know if I was going to be there this afternoon, why would I bond with you, right? Just like you were there, and other than surviving you, why would I want anything like to do with you? That's like the deal. So anyway, that's how kind of life was, man. Life growing up, like they were over there. We were in the same house. They were over there. I was two and three, four, and I knew, and I knew that was it, And like another thing too was care were not allowed out of our beds at night, right? You know, um, and I don't remember being food deprived or anything like that, like ever. Well, I maybe a little bit, but no direct, specific, clear memories, right? So when I was adopted, right, we were, in care, we're not allowed to leave our beds at night, right? We're just not, right? So, um, like we're not allowed to talk, once we're in bed, that's it, right? So anyway, I would leave, I would sneak out of my bed, which was a big no-no, out of the room, which is even a bigger no-no, go downstairs, which is an even bigger no-no, and then go into the kitchen, which was like huge, right? So I would check like the refrigerator to see if there was any food in there, and it was even big not to steal any. We couldn't steal any food, right? But I felt better just knowing that it was there, right? I really did. I just felt better, right? And then I would go upstairs, and sometimes I do that multiple times a night, and I don't know why I did that. It was I don't know if I was food deprived or like anything like that. That they punished me with no dinner or no something like that. But I felt better, and so that's what it was like. And the last thing that would happen to me was, like if I got caught, that was like death, right? But that's what it was like to me. So I'd sneak downstairs and I'd sneak back, and then I would go to sleep in like a full panic. Like one, I didn't get caught. Two, like what if they knew, right? What if they knew? What if they were watching me the whole time, right? So anyway, those are a couple little snapshots about what it was like to grow up a 60s group kid growing up in really here in the States. So once again, my name is Kanipo with Macquad, Stand Your Bear. So So the Tribe Fishing Lake First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty 4 territory. And if no one said that, they love you today. I love you very much. Let's have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.